Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Jam Does Stuff. I'm back at it again, and this is gonna be my first video deck list ever for Set 4 League of Villains. I know I've been gone for a little while. That's because I've been a little tired with the game. Set 3, kind of boring, but this set, probably the same stuff. But I've had a good, fun time playing iida 3 of all things. Let me just tell you as well, this character deck is not very good, but I have a lot of fun with it. I would call it the Deku 2 of iida and speed and stuff currently. And that's a good thing to me because I love that deck. I think it's really fun. This deck's a lot of fun. Not the best deck, probably could be with a lot of fine tuning and tweaking, but this is the list I've been using for the most part the last like month of me testing and building and playing with friends and such. But let's get into it. I have a fun great time, and eventually I'll probably get into another Midoriya 2 list, and then soon to be Midoriya 3. Talk about that when we talk about that. But anyways, for the attacks, there's just a bunch of really cool moves that I like for it. Like, obviously, Reciprocal Burst, big finishing kill move. It's really good when you get it to work, but it's also not the main kill move. But this card is sick because it works really well with what iida wants, which is to say, momentum. Because this move says, as long as this is your second move, you'll be able to get some momentum by removing your other stuff, which is really good. Plus, it helps that it can remove a card from your opponent, but that doesn't really matter. So that's why we have that, because it says you can remove kicks from your card pool to play for this EX ability. iida says when you play an EX ability, you add top card your deck to your momentum. So you play this after anything. This could be literally anything, and then you just remove it. Now it's only one card, but then you add top card to your deck to momentum for iida. There we go. It's in momentum now. We do that, and same way with this. We're just low, decently strong move. You can boost its damage with a bunch of other things, but this is another way of getting momentum. And as for new cards, a lot of this I had to put a new cards in that worked pretty well. So that's, take a grain of salt with that. But then this kinetic air cannon, this card is really, really good. EX2, so it can work with iida when you do have momentum. Give it 2 speed. Grab another one real quick if you want to. But then if this deals damage, add top card your deck to momentum. And remove one, add one other card from your discard pile to momentum. We mostly play it for the top ability, where it just says, block this 5 speed, 4 damage move to let me grab an extra momentum right now. So it's really good for that. It can get you another momentum, but also cannot. It also doesn't jive with kicks. Like this is a combo kick, and that's pretty much it. But this just grabs you another momentum, another way of grabbing momentum. These two things, and then that to some extent, all do a very similar job of just momentum right now, or even then just building up your momentum, which is why this card's sick. And then Reciprocal Extend, this one looks really dumb with the dirt in the background. But this card I chose over certain other cards, which we'll hopefully get to these later. But this one I find to be better, even though it does the same thing of drawing a card, but your next one gets bigger and faster. I like this more because it can jive well with the stadium, which we're playing, to give your next move 4/4. But also, if say they block this, and like they are intent on blocking everything, like an eraser head or something, because these are all like your best stuff or whatever, they're eraser head or whatever. They intend to block everything. This plus the stadium can give your flash move, which they can't interact with, 4/4. So if they plan on you need momentum and you want this to get there really quick, but say it's only they're not going to block it or they will block it, whatever. This essentially this giving this 2/2 because it's just the next move. It's being flash says they kind of have to deal with it and probably block it because it's 6 damage now, whereas before we can't interact with it to give it any damage off of President, this, that maybe, but anything else. This gives the next one 2/2, so it can just make your other. It helps iida ramp up because the problem with this deck is the fact that sure you might be really fast and maybe sometimes really hit hard, but a lot of the time it's really just you're fast with not big damage. So this kind of helps your things ramp up more, which I like. And same rebound sidekick. This can be really good for removing you add it to your momentum with like this to give it damage, but also just gets you momentum instantly because it's flash and they have to deal with it. So I really like that. This I feel like definitely in most iida decks is going to be a 4 of. And falling touch deck, I want this to be the 4 of because it's just, combo damage, combo damage, combo damage, and speed with EX. But it needs to combo with EX. If it comboed with kicks, it would probably be a lot easier, but because it has to be EX, like this isn't EX, that's not EX, and then I think that's it. But these are like your main like starting bread and butter cards, which is why I don't like it this much. It's still really cool for, in theory, like 5 for 7, really cool and good for that. But it's also whatever. So this is a card I just like to play for because I have an XR and Blitzney. This card's also really neat because this, in a sense, could also be a good poke. Has a deadlock ability, but also can just in the game where you have a lot of attacks, so you can just poke them down instantly with this because as a cheap move, it gets speed 3 damage. So if they intend on blocking this opposed to other things, they'll probably just take the 3 and you get momentum. So it's a decent poke, also a good way just to extend for more damage with your foundations and stuff. Those are the attacks. I think they're all really cool, really fun, and they all work pretty well with each other. Onto the foundations. Now I'm going to start with the lows instead of the Hydro Cook because this card right here, Behind the Curtain, this is the reason why this deck exists for me right now, because it's just one of those moments where you look at a card and you're like, huh, that would work really neat with this character. And that's why I did this. So this is out of 4 of obviously. Commit, look at top X cards up to number of Behind the Curtains. That's really cool. I like that neat ability. But its response is the one with nature, which makes this the Midoriya 2 of kicks and stuff. Once per turn, after you discard 1 or more momentum, your attack gets 1 damage. So this basically says is the inverse of Midoriya, where it says like 3 speed because you're EX and then 1 damage thanks to this. This is what essentially also helps you ramp up your stuff, because as long as you get multiple of these, like even 2 is pretty good because you're giving them 2-3 speed plus 2. So you're giving them like 2-2, 3-2, which is a pretty good exchange rate. And that's really why I love like this card is what made me build this deck. It made me see like, oh, there's a lot of cool neat stuff here. And then Heroic Lineage, kind of same stuff. Decent defensive card, decent offensive card, just good. 1 Contempt for Heroes. This is a new card I want to try. Helps you grab another card, like when you're opening turn, just building more. As well as response, bottom one, to get another card in hand is pretty neat. So Manly, because iida is very fragile and doesn't have the best defense, I figure just throwing this at the 1 of because it's a little bit of a get off me kind of card. Manly Passionate Guy, same way. Whereas like with the Eraser Red, where you're going to be blocking a lot of stuff with this, so why not just build it down to use it for later? And that's what the instance with this. Only 2 of, because I don't want that to be his main focus, because I do want to just rush you down like iida probably should. 2 Idle Work. This lets me destroy stuff, get out of deadlock, and just in theory draw some cards, which is not bad. And then Stadium, once again, like with the stuff, just give it 2-2, helps you ramp up and commit other stuff for draw. So it's just decent for that. Amazing. Flip after you get a momentum, ready this card, playable while committed. So basically, flip, ready this card when you play iida 2, or iida 3, sorry. iida 2 sucks to me. This card's super good, super great. 0 diff, amazing. Its response is also really good if you don't have it face down already. And as for highs, easily excited, just really good spam, gets our moves really fast and decent high block. 1 Adorable Telepath. I really like this card, just a 1 of. I just always keep a high block in your stage, like in your back pocket, just in case. Class 1 President. This card's really good because during their later turns, this lets you like because a lot of these things are decently slow printed, surprisingly. This lets you actually give them damage to kill a move. So like with Blitzney especially, like you EX 2 times, or 1 time rather actually, and then it's up to 3 speed with the 1 time EX, and then plus its other ability. So these go up to like 4, 3, whatever. And you, because it's already double, because printed speed is 1, weirdly enough, just makes it 5 damage, which is actually pretty decent for a 3 diff. So a lot of stuff actually does get very high. Like this card is amazing in it, I find. I just like it for flip extra damage. Web of Blades, this card is just a decent little tech piece for extra speed or damage for certain things. But that's why it's just out of 1. Thing with Citywide Crisis, it's just neat. Prints out to its printed speed, playable while committed. This is just another good kind of if you need to block something. Like I can easily take this out, honestly. Might will. The art's great, but I actually have a decent time blocking stuff with all my speed negation and such, but it's not bad. The response is pretty good. And same Dissolving the Conflict is another just get off me card after you play an attack. When they've hit me already 2 times probably, just say no to it. Pretty good. But once again, just 1 up. And then Sense of Justice, I really like this. It is another way of speed negation, but it's also damage negation, which he can sometimes need, because this does sometimes just say that attack that would kill me, now it'll just barely not kill me, and I really like that. Or more speed negation if you do intend on blocking stuff. And so that's the list for this. I think it's really solid, really good. You just play a lot of kicks, get your momentum, and then with Behind the Curtain, which is my main favorite card, or this for Prone Dryas, you're able to just give things like 2-2, 2-1, 3-2, 3-1. Like it's just really good. I really love this deck. It's probably not that great because iida himself as a character is not very good. All he says is that you always have momentum, which is cool. That's kind of all he says, which I don't particularly love. But this has been like the funnest deck to play. You should definitely give it a shot. And real quick, because I need to go, because I want to drink my cup of coffee and go to work. These are a bunch of cards I did consider and probably would work well in this deck, but I just didn't. Like I said, with this is the one for extend, where it's an 8 high for 4, and you draw one. But I just, like I said, the 2/2 to the next helps me ramp up. I can make other certain things they have to block, like the flash, which I like a little more over this. But this is a high and neat. This card has to get to 6 speed, which I find very difficult to just do easily. It's not impossible, but it's also not that great. As well, it's not very good in and of itself. Like it's a 3 mid for 4 that I have to combo, so it's not great. This card, Rising Engine Kick, I want to play. It might just be because now, after playing Tetsu Thrashing, I have an addiction to 2 checks, because I also think this is pretty good. Lets you play more stuff so you have more ready stuff, as well it gets more damage, and they discard momentum, your rival. And it's cool. I really do just like it. I could easily probably put this in instead of like Falling Thruster Kick, but I will say the 2 check is a little bit of a hindrance because I don't think it does that much good stuff. And then Engine Boost, this card is definitely more of an Ingenia move. It's not bad for this card because it does let you ready more stuff, and like when you do, it gets damage and stuff. And I can easily put this in somewhere, but I'm not loving it, which is the problem with it. But I do also not hate it. And for actions, these cards are pretty cool. This one, less damage for the rest of the turn, so lets you survive easily. And then Engine Trouble, just point and click, notice something, let's commit it. Indiscriminate Shock, this card's neat because it can get you more momentum. Jet Stream Crash also makes your next thing really fast or really hit hard, so it's another way to ramp up. Compression Spear, it's an EX move after you discard it or block with it. It can also, like, it's just a neat, cool card, but I don't think it does very much. And then Fierce Whirlwind, this card's sick. EX, destroy stuff, ready stuff. This card I really do like, and flip stuff in the card pool, but it's neat. But I don't think this is the deck for it. But it also could be. I think it's just a bunch of other cool foundations that you could run. Like Small Number, I like, but most of the time I actually don't want to use it because I'm saving up for other things. But at the same time, I also don't have much things to use to like make my moves like actually hard to deal with, like big damage. And this can pump damage. Then you have just a bunch of other momentum draw cards. Like this can just stop something, this can get you momentum, but nothing's really a charge or stun move in the deck. This can help you just deal with like when they have a really good speed negation. So this can kind of like maybe be good and go into like say the Eraserhead matchup. And same with this stuff, just after you block, good for blocking and dealing with stuff. This is just good for when you block with build, but also sealing like your other opponents, like passing the torch or what you have. And Confused is to me took up the place of Sense of Justice because it's just a good card for Midoriya 2. That's not a punch anymore. You can't do anything to it. Petty Squabble, decently good since E doesn't do anything on defense with his character besides the ready one. You could just ready your one and then use this, draw 2, commit 2, or draw 2, discard 2. This is just a good stop card. This card's kind of cool because, if they did hit you and you survive, then you get to just commit some of their stuff for free, which I really like. And this is another like get off me card, stop attacking me, Tokagami. And that's pretty much all for like the side cards I was considering. I don't really have a side deck for this because this is just like a really fun. I like this deck. I think it's really neat, mostly because of this card deck. And that's pretty much it for now. I gotta get going here soon, but like please hit subscribe, like, comment stuff. I hope this deck and this video has like gotten you to look at this character in this deck. I know a lot of people have been crazy under him for Void or under Order, but I really like the Void list now, especially because of this. Order as well, crazy symbol now, but I like this Void Kick iida deck, which it's one of the step 1 original staple good cool things. That's why I love this. So like, subscribe, comment, I guess. I don't really know. But share this as well. Play this deck. I think it's really a ton of fun. I love it. Peace.